What's up, my peeps? Today I wanted to talk about war. Okay, um, war is being treated differently than it was like around the first time the war in Iraq happened. Okay, um, I think the projection of certain wars, you know, makes them stand out. And that's an obvious statement to make, but I don't think some people get that because you have a crowd of people that will sit back and say, why are they not talking about this war? Why are they not talking about that war? And I'm going to say it's the power of trending, okay? When you look at the war in Vietnam, you were looking at a time when television was exploding, okay? And covering that war and bringing it to a certain light, it created a lot of backlash from the public, and it made a lot of people have different opinions about it. And seeing the footage of the soldiers over there dying and all of that, it did something. Okay, anytime you have something like that thrown in your face, some kind of change is gonna happen. All right. You look at the march on Selma. All right. When that was on TV and people were seeing people getting beat up in the streets, it did something to people when you see footage like that. Okay. Now, with the war in Vietnam, people were engaged. Okay. And it was a trending topic in the country. Okay. And that kind of made Congress make some decisions. All right. The war in Iraq. This is millennials' first war. Okay. This was a very, very trending war. Okay. This is like the birth of the internet. So it happened around the birth of the internet. And you got a president and Vice President George Bush, George W. Bush, and Dick Cheney, who will forever be looked at as warmongers. All right, because that war was highlighted like a motherfucker. Okay, and rightfully so, with it being started because of the way the U.S. was attacked. All right, now with this being the birth of the internet, you got a lot of people who are doing more research because there's more outlets and more opinions being thrown online. So it's more for them to read about it versus going to the library and hoping that somebody wrote something about it back in the days, okay? Or hearing it from somebody on a radio station, some conspiracy guy on a radio station, all right? You have that, all of that with the click of a finger. All right. And the war in Iraq trended heavy. A lot of protests happened. All right. A lot of people did research. Now, the initial reports we got from the government was Iraq. All right. When the towers came down, this is what they were feeding to us. All right. I don't know who had the idea to say, well, let's fact check that. But they did. And we have the internet. So movies were made, documentaries were made, okay, and it was very highlighted. Somewhere around that time, we lost interest, okay. This is one of the reasons why you don't see or hear anything about war, is because we really don't care about it. We may say we do, okay, we'll say a couple of things about it in a debate because it sounds really good in a debate, okay? When somebody is saying, why are the NFL players kneeling? It is people that went to war and died for that, okay? That's cool. But that shouldn't be the end all be all in your discussion of war. And liberals too, okay? I know that was like a Republican talking point I just gave you, a person that's against the protest. Liberals, when you see a person kneeling, and you're defending this person kneeling, and you're like, this has nothing to do with the wars. This has nothing to do with the wars, all right? Don't let that be your end all, be all thought about war. This is serious, okay? People die in war, all right? I had a cousin that died in war, all right? I made a comment like last week when I said that people will get mad at a relative for $20. They'll cut them off. They owe them $20, and this person ain't paying them back, and they cut them off completely. Okay, the government is taking money out of your check to fund these wars. Okay, that's gonna add up to way more than $20. So why are you not questioning and checking on your money? Why are you sitting back like it's safe? And I don't know what made the trend in Iraq die, but the war is still going on out there, still in Afghanistan, and a whole bunch of other places. Okay, we have our hands dirty, all right? And nobody is thinking about this. It's amazing to me to see two people arguing, two tax-paying people argue over money like little petty cash. I don't want to say $20 petty cash because that's a lot of money for some people. And you can do a lot with $20 if you're crafty, okay? But at the same time, you're a taxpayer and you're willing to cut a person off for that. But all of this money is being taken out of your check, sent to fund a military to go to war. Why are you not trying to find out what that war is about? All right. And I'm the type of person that look at bottom lines. I'll look at a report from, a conservative outlet. I'll look at a report from a liberal outlet, and I look at the bottom line. They can tell me that we're over there for a good reason. They can tell me that we're over there for a bad reason. What is the end result? The end result for me is I'm looking at the body count. I'm looking at the resources. Do they still have resources there? We've been bombing their fucking resources, and is it to a point where they're not in livable conditions? Are we creating refugees and casualties out of citizens that stay in a region where we engage in war? Okay, that's my bottom line. And when I see a lot of deaths, when I see resources are torn apart, when I see families ripped apart, what that tells me is that my money shouldn't be over there. Why am I spending my money on that? Okay, if I go down the street and I give a guy $50, okay, and I give him $50 because he told me that, look, this guy over here, he's bothering me. He's coming to my house every day talking shit. If I have $50, I can buy me a gun and protect myself. And I want you to think of that guy as the United States, okay? Because our money, our tax money, is given to the military in defense, okay? This is for defense. This is to protect us from people trying to fuck with us. So that guy I gave $50 to, I gave him $50 to go and get him something to protect himself, okay? Now, let's say the next day I see that guy and I'm like, is everything okay? He like, yeah, I went over there and I killed him, his wife, his kids, and then I killed the neighbors, and then I killed the dogs and all of them over there. I gave him $50 to defend himself. I didn't give him $50 to go and massacre the whole fucking block. I'm going to feel pretty guilty, and I'm going to feel like I really did waste it. I wasted that 50, okay? That $50 cost a lot of fucking lives. When I could have took that $50 and gave it to a charity or something. And this is why I have liberal tendencies. This was the source of me becoming a liberal. My source in becoming a liberal wasn't because of racism. My source in becoming a liberal wasn't because of homosexual rights or anything like that because of my stance on gun control or whatever, all right? It started with war. I am very liberal with war, okay? And I believe that the money that we spend, it should be heading towards true defense, okay? Not wiping out fucking countries, all right? And when I read reports on what we do in other countries, I don't like how my money is being spent. And the source of my liberalism is I think that money that I spend on that can be spent on education. It could be spent on some kind of safety net programs, all right? So when people tell me that we can't afford health care, all right, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. All right. But trust me, I've been objective since I've been on this channel. Okay. And I look at all reports on war, and like I say, it's the bottom line. What is the bottom line? You can tell me that Iran is building nukes. They got all type of shit stockpiled and ready, is locked and loaded. Okay. They got that. All right. I'm scared. All right. Here, take my money and make sure that we have good defense on that. All right. We can defend ourselves from whatever they choose to throw at us. But if they don't throw anything at us and we go over there and fuck with them, that's the guy I gave $50 to murdering this whole block. And I'm using Iran as an example. I know we haven't invaded Iran. I'm just using it as an example, okay? If you want me to give you an example of a country that we did that to, Iraq, okay? They didn't attack us, but we went and attacked them. And I lost a lot of money in that, and more importantly than the money, I lost a cousin over there, okay? I'm using money for those who haven't been through anything like that. But if you've had somebody in your family die in a senseless war, or a war that you may think makes sense, the death is still is gonna bother you, okay? And I don't want to be funding my cousin's own death. I don't want to be funding your brother, sister, whoever own death if this is not in defense. If it's an offense, if we are over there and we really don't have a reason to be over there, I don't want my money going over there, okay? I think that is basic as you can get. Those are my principles on war. You got a source of how I became a liberal, okay? I'm going to leave it at that because I do want you guys to think about where your money is going, and that should lead you into wanting to research into wars. If I can't, that should be some motivation for your ass, okay? All right, so you guys have a good one. Get in the comment section, tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You can get in there and expand my mind more on what I just said. You guys have a good one. Peace.